The flames of the chamber still raged when the dust settled, the monstrous guardian's roar echoing into silence as its fiery form crumbled into embers. Eryndor lowered his sword, his chest heaving with exhaustion, and turned to Celestia, whose golden aura flickered faintly, as if her strength had nearly burned out with the trial. But before relief could take hold, the ground beneath them cracked again, not from fire, but from something colder, darker. A low hum spread through the chamber, shaking the very stones. The glowing runes carved into the walls flared in a color not of fire, but of blood. Celestia's violet eyes widened. "This wasn't just a trial," she whispered. "It was a lock, and we've just broken it." From the smoldering ashes of the fallen guardian, a new form began to stir, shadows twisting, knitting themselves into a figure draped in tattered black robes. Its face was hidden, but its voice was a chilling blend of echo and whisper. "You freed me," it hissed, stepping forward, the air growing cold despite the flames. "After centuries of chains, I walk once more." Eryndor raised his sword, but the figure merely waved its hand, and the warrior was thrown backward, his weapon clattering across the chamber. Celestia tried to summon her magic, but sparks fizzled in her palm, as though drained by an unseen force. The shadow's head tilted toward her. "You carry the heart of Eloria," it murmured, voice trembling with hunger. "The last spark of the ancients. It belongs to me." Celestia staggered back, clutching the glowing crystal pendant at her neck, the very one that had chosen her as a child. She had never understood its true purpose, but now she realized it was the key to everything. Before the shadow could strike, a sudden tremor rattled the chamber. From the ruined archways above, a figure leapt down, landing between them in a swirl of dust and cloak. A hood fell back to reveal a familiar face. "Kaelen?" Eryndor gasped, forcing himself to his feet. The man's silver eyes gleamed with something both sorrowful and dangerous. Once Eryndor's sworn brother-in-arms, Kaelen had vanished years ago during the Border Wars. Yet here he stood, alive, and not alone. Around his arm curled black tendrils of shadow, pulsing like veins. "Step aside, Eryndor," Kaelen said coldly. "The world needs a new order. Eldoria must fall for it to rise again." The betrayal cut deeper than any blade. Memories of shared battles, of brotherhood and oaths sworn under starlit skies, clashed with the reality before him. Celestia's voice trembled. "He bears the mark of the void." Eryndor clenched his fists. "Kaelen, whatever you think you've become, it isn't you." But Kaelen only smiled, a fractured mix of grief and triumph. "I've seen the truth, and you of all people should know. Destiny doesn't care about love or honor. It demands sacrifice." With a gesture, the shadows around him surged, slamming into the chamber's walls, shaking the very foundations. The shadowed figure, the freed prisoner, bowed its head to Kaelen. "At last, my chosen." The realization struck like a blade through Eryndor's chest. The trial hadn't freed the shadow by accident. It had been planned, orchestrated. Kaelen was the one it had been waiting for. Celestia gripped Eryndor's arm, whispering fiercely, "We can't fight both of them. Not now." But Eryndor's gaze burned with defiance. "Then we'll fight for enough time to escape." Before Kaelen could strike, Eryndor charged, blade flashing with desperate fire. The clash of steel and shadow filled the chamber as Celestia raised her last ounce of strength to conjure a barrier. A glowing dome of light that trembled against the darkness pressing in. Kaelen's laughter echoed through the fire and smoke. "Run, if you wish, but know this, when we meet again, brother, your blood will be the key that completes the prophecy." The dome shattered just as Celestia hurled Eryndor through a collapsing passage, the two of them tumbling into darkness as the chamber collapsed behind them. When they landed in the cold silence of an underground river, Eryndor coughed, his hands shaking. He looked back at the sealed tunnel, Kaelen's final words still ringing in his mind. Celestia, pale and weak, gripped his hand. "He's not just your past, Eryndor. He's our future enemy. And if the heart of Eloria truly belongs to me," her voice broke, "then the fate of Eldoria may rest on whether we can save him or destroy him." The river carried them into the unknown, as far above, shadows spread across Eldoria for the first time in centuries.